Hello everyone. In the last sessions, I have already introduced you about two tools of advertising, which is TVCs, commercials, and also the print advertising, which is actually very traditional but still effective nowadays. And in the last sessions, we will already learn about the creative brief and the overview of the advertising. So today we go to the the kind of the strategies of how people advertise in these days and the process from the time that the agency received the brief until the campaign is launched. So today we're gonna learn something about that. Let's review a little bit about advertising. So advertising is creating paid announcement to be promoted through different types of media, including online, print, TV, out home, or radio. There's so many types of advertising that people market utilize and use in these days. So what is the strategies of that? So advertising strategy is a plan to reach and pursue customers with the objectives of indirect selling, delivering message or the ideas of a product, service to a customer, or being brand name, achieving other reasonable objectives. So it means it's a plan to reach to your target customer and persuade them to buy your product or make them know more about your product and take it into their subconscious, build a brand awareness and build the brand image inside the customer. Let's move to the flow of that, the activity flow. When a client has a requirement, has a need of making their advertising their product to a customer, so they will send the requirement. They will send their needs and to the agencies, and the agency will receive a clear brief from clients. A brief here is actually a creative brief, which means the things that the client wants the agency to follow and produce it for them. What is the ideas of the client that want the agency to perform it. And next, the agency will actually define the product and service. Before doing the campaign about the product, they have to understand what is the product, what is the attribute of that product, and how can the product is contributed to the consumer, so they can make it they can make the customer realize about that. Next thing, understanding your target audience. Obviously, you have to know who is you gonna talk to, who's you gonna attack to, and who's you gonna reach to through various media channels. Market research. In these sections, the agents will try to understand the market. Inside the market, how big is it? Who is your competitors? Where are you in the market, and how good are they, and how good are you as well? So understanding it better can actually give you a different thought and different ways to produce to make an attractive campaign. Next thing, developing a successful advertising campaign based on these factors. Creating a relative advertising message which you're gonna communicate to your customer. So if it's actually too general, and it is every brand, so no one will remember your slogan or your message that you're delivering. But if it is actually outstanding and it stand out from the crowd, so it makes the consumer impressed about your product and remember it longer. Choosing the appropriate advertising media, it depends on the trend that you can actually choose the media types to actually put it on. For example, in 10 years ago, there's no kind of social media. The thing is that social media has actually just posted, and at that time, marketers use it to actually use digital marketing to attract people because it was a trend that time. And these days, nobody uses newspaper anymore. There's still people using newspaper, but not really popular anymore, not really commonly. But nowadays they use social media, digital marketing as well, and which is actually very visualized, and which is the visuals of that is actually very attractive and it's reach the customer faster and more conveniently. Consider budget. Yeah, yeah, because you are the agency. You just based on the budget that the client is giving to you to make it, and you don't pay the money for that. You don't pay the money for campaigns, but you use the money from the client. So you have to consider the budgets, and finally measure the progress and the result. Yeah, obviously, after doing something, you have to know the efficiency of that, and setting KPI and measure the effective the result of the campaign will actually help you better to know where you wrong, and maybe you can fix in the next campaign. And finally, modifying advertising strategy time to time, because maybe today like your campaign is successful, but maybe tomorrow it's not anymore. People keep changing every day, so you have to modify your advertising strategy as well to actually reach your consumer every day. Let's put a step after receiving the creative brief. First, we define brand and service. The purpose of that is to specify the object that are offered by the company, and the object could be anything from the categories. So to do this, you understand what is the object of a company. What is the object that the brand offer and the brand give to a consumer. Objective determine primary objective of the product service. The objective could be specific. Yeah, it may be business objective, like you want to increase your sales, you increase your market share, but it also can be marketing objective, where you want to increase your brand awareness. You can increase your brand image. You build a better brand image, or maybe you want to reposition your image. You want to build another image of your brand inside consumer. Next thing, understand your target audience. There are 4 types. First, geographics. Like people in different places will have different behavior, obviously. For example, like in the southern of Vietnam, people will call a bowl is a giang, but like if you say a giang to a northern citizens of Vietnamese citizens, they actually maybe don't understand, or they understand but they don't get used to the word. But if you say it is a bag, so like a bowl is a bag, so like they understand it immediately, because that's the word that they use every day. So depends on the geographics. Second thing, demographics. Just like basically between women and men and women, they have different behavior. Men care about things like very active, like sports or strong things, but women is like they cares about something that is elegant, is beautiful, is attractive. So they are different types. They have different behavior as well. So you have to consider them as well. About the other 2 elements, psychographic, it means about their lifestyle. Somebody like somebody goes to gyms not to build their strong body, but they just want to show off because like they're going to a good gym, so they want to go there just to show up they're wealthy. Sometimes it's that, and other ways like behavioral. It means they about their brand interactions. Some people is actually rich, so they want to buy Gucci's, even they don't know how good it is, even they don't know how. They just want to buy it because it's expensive, and they want to show off their money. Fourth thing, any market research. First, you have to understand the market. Where are you in the market? Obviously, so first, market potentials, the market shares. Who is dominating in the market? For example, like in the language centers in Ho Chi Minh City now. So the biggest market share is Huawei, which actually account for more than 40%. It means they are the leader of the market. So whatever the message they say is always right, and people still listen to it because it's the largest brand. Positioning, where are you in the market, and who are you in the market as well. Like how customer understand you in the market. Like for example, Huawei, when people think about Huawei, they will think about a language center for children, which is actually very professionals, full foreign teacher, and have a very international standard. Environment, how good is your competitors? Yeah, there's a saying like you know your enemies, you're gonna be win in any match. It means like you know how good is your competitors in the market, how good are they, and what is their brand image, customer experience. Again, how good are you? If you know well about your customer, about your competitors, then you should know how good are you as well, and how good are you in the customer mind. Barriers. What problem in getting those products and services? So maybe your message is delivering to the customer, but there's actually some noises, some barriers that prevent the customer from understanding your product and your values. So you have to understand which is the barrier that to avoid it or to break it and make your message deliver to the customer meaningfully and people understand what you're talking about. Expectations. What are customer designs? Yeah, you should know what is your customer design, what they need to offer the right value for them, so they will be attracted and you will buy immediately because they're needing something like that, and you give them the thing that they need, so they buy it immediately. And other issues is actually not commented in these things. Fifth thing, developing an advertising campaign. Normally, a campaign will have three phases, and they are made based on the customer buying process. The phases will be presented in the next slide. So it moves the customer from the awareness to comprehensions to convictions and action. That means when a campaign is launched, people first will know about a campaign, then they understand the message that you're delivering to them, and they feel attracted to that, they feel convinced to that because it suits to the design or it attracted them in some ways. And finally, they feel attracted, they will join your campaign, and finally they will buy your product. So that's gonna be the process of the campaign. The phases. First thing, awareness. So in the phase one, the agency will try to create a meaningful message which deliver benefit to your that you produce and provide to customer, and what makes you different from the competitors. When you actually stand out of the crowd and give the benefit to the product customer that they need, so you actually attract them, and just by a short coherent message that you're delivering to the product, it makes that you're delivering to the consumer, so the customer will remember it for a long time and better. Second thing, influence. In phase two, brand engagement, increasing interaction experience of customer. Maybe in the campaign you actually give them a samples, so they can actually try it, and they feel the trial will help them to give them more information to buy the product. Or maybe you can give them some discount, depends on the customer design, and it depends on how you understand your customer. So if your customer need some kind of discount to buy your product, so it's gonna be a very good way for you to give them discount and attract this kind of product, this kind of consumer. And finally, amplify. Call to action, call to sale report. It means when you enable your customer to buy things, when you actually amplify them to buy, call them to actually buy your product. That's the phase three. Finally, the missions of the campaign. First, there are three missions that the campaign should deliver to your consumer: informative, persuasive, and reminder. So for informative, for new products, for existing product, service with additional functions. When you actually launch a product, no one knows about your product then. So if you launch a campaign, a big campaign, and you attract people, like a TVC, as I mentioned in the last sessions, so it's easier to actually announce people about a new product is actually produced in the market. Persuasive, for existing product and services which customer already know, but they haven't changed their thought and behavior to buy. So sometimes the brand is actually positioned with an old image. So making a campaign can actually make a new personality to a brand and make the customer know, inform the customer about a new image that the brand is actually producing and changing to. Reminder. And for long life product service, this type of campaign missions just to remind customer not to forget increase engagement, like Dutch ladies and kind of like like milk in the milk market, like Dutch ladies. The brand name doesn't change at all, but it actually the activity is actually still happening and performed on the TVCs to remind customer about the product that has been existing for a long time, and make them remind them about the best product in the milk market so they can buy it. How about a message, which is actually maybe the heart of the campaign, because if a message is not coherent, long, and not really impressive at all, people don't understand it, and your campaign is gonna be a failure. But a creative message or idea will generate a widespread strong effect and help a position in customer mind. Like there's so many slogans nowadays that it's actually a trend and it impress customer so they can remember it longer, and maybe they will have another benefit like the word of mouth that they use a trend and they spread it like widely in the community, so it gives you an additional benefit. To read a strong message and idea, we have to explore three things. First, a consumer insight. You have to understand what is the the inside the need that customer the deep need of the customer. So if you understand it well, you can actually create a big idea which is made from the understanding from the customer to find the ideas for a problem. So if you understand the need inside of the customer, you can actually give them the idea of how to satisfy that need. And finally, you summarize it into a tagline, which is a very short slogan that generates for a whole campaign. It is a short, a coherent slogan that will stay in customer mind for a long time, and it makes them to remember about your campaigns more and more, and the quality and the result of the campaign is gonna be better. And the message should be meaningful, unit, emotional and creative, and also and be delivered to customer on the tagline slogan. I'm trying to make a really long things. Like for example, you imagine when people if throwing a ball to the customer, just a ball so they can actually catch it. So imagine that the slogan is just one ball. It's a short coherence, and it is easy to remember. So when you throw that ball to the customer, they can actually easily understand it, but and keep it in their mind. But if it actually is a if it is a long message and it has so many meanings, and it's like you throw many balls to the consumer, so they couldn't catch it easily, and they will forget it immediately after hearing it. And maybe like they will drop the ball when they couldn't catch all the balls the balls there. We are touch point, the channels where you can actually put your campaigns on. There's so many like TV, newspaper, magazine, direct mail, outdoor, social media, which is actually very popular these days. Define is a total time target audience span for depends on the trend as well and the type of product. Like for example, in YouTube these days, there are so many e-commerce advertising of saying that. So they utilize the social media to actually advertise their program, because they know they target customer who actually spend a lot of time on the YouTube are their target customer. Total time our advertising appears on that platform, and how message can be reached and by what method. It is all included in the media. And objectives, financial efficiencies, and reaching target audience effectively. It has to be measured and dependent on the budget. Like if you actually have 5 million on budget, and you want to put it on the YouTube on TV, you want to make a TVC for that campaign. It doesn't make sense at all because you don't have enough money for that. So it depends on the financial efficiencies. Depends on how much money do you have, and how much money the client is giving to you, to make sure that you can actually put in the appropriate channels. The money budget, average budget is how much to spend. It depends on the budget that client gives to agency or company give to enhance team. So they will design a detailed collection which match the given budget. It has to depend on the budget that the client is giving to you to make sure that you can actually match it to the product to the quality and quantity of the product that you're giving to. And measurement. After doing that, you have to set KPI for that. Things that you will base on it to measure the efficiency of the product of your campaign. So tracking, how will you measure the progress? To assess the effectiveness of your advertising campaigns, you can monitor sales, new customers, requests for information, for inquiries, retail store traffic, website traffic, and click-through rates. There's so many criteria that you can base on to actually evaluate the efficiencies of your campaign. For example, when you actually launch it on digital marketing, you can actually see how many people that your advertising reach to, and you can actually, if your objective is to increase sales, you can see how many sales you have more, like how many sales is increased after your campaign, and you can actually compare to your original objective to make sure that to find that if your campaign is successful and efficient. And finally, people change every day, so does strategies. So stay in touch with the trends in the marketing and modify the advertising strategies time to time. Don't just hit it at one point and let it go for a long time. It doesn't make sense because people still change every day. What they like still change every day. What they are attractive is changing every day. So you have to change it, your strategy to keep the customer like your product, like your campaign, and it's attractive to your campaign. You can actually sell more and you can actually satisfy your objective. And that's also the end of the whole process of advertising strategy. So thank you for listening and spending your time for my presentations.